We all have a goal. And we know that there's going to be some point in our lives when we don't want to work anymore, or at least, again, talking about work, right? There's a time when we want to retire. And when we do, Social Security just won't cover it. It's the base level for all of us, the ground zero baseline, but it's just not enough. As women, a lot of us are caretakers and we like to take care. Well, we have to take care of ourselves. And in this way, we take care of others. Then when we take care of ourselves, we're not obligating others to step in and fill that gap that we didn't fill ourselves.
Hello, amazing humans, and welcome to episode number 302 of the Game On Girlfriend podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's important for all of us, but sometimes you can feel like you want to skip it. Yeah, your retirement. I know. Before you freak out and go, oh, retirement. Do you know how much is available to you through that money? Like what starts to happen, especially if you're running your own business and you start saving for retirement, and then you turn those retirement funds into self-directed retirement funds. There is a world available here for all of us that we might just be missing out on if we don't understand how to use it well. And that brings me to today's conversation with our guest, Kaaren Hall. Kaaren is the founder and CEO of UDirect IRA Services, which is a leading provider of self-directed IRA accounts since 2009, with over 2 decades of experience in real estate, mortgage lending, and property management, and especially self-directed IRAs. Kaaren has empowered thousands of people to take control of their retirement funds and invest in alternative assets, things like real estate, private funding, precious metals, and more. Her expertise in self-directed retirement accounts has made her a sought-after speaker, and she's been a featured panelist and presenter at industry-leading conferences, including Bigger Pockets, BP Con 22, 23, and 24. So listen, here's the thing. Before you go, oh God, I'm going to have to stretch my brain for this conversation to understand, you're really not. And what I worked on really hard with Kaaren in this episode, and I asked her repeatedly, okay, if I'm someone who hasn't started yet, if I'm someone who's just dabbling, what do I need to know? How do I get started right now? And I really want you to listen to those answers because they're going to help you get started. And we need each other as girlfriends, right? We need each other to be having these conversations. There is a massive wealth transfer coming to women, and we need to be ready and understand the different ways that we can use this money well. And I love what she said about possibly using your IRA to help a local business get done what they need to get done. So make sure you keep your ears perked for that tip. All right, beautiful souls, let's pop in those earphones and get to it. Kaaren, welcome to the Game On Girlfriend podcast. I'm really looking forward. We're talking money. We're talking self-directed money. Welcome to the Game On Girlfriend podcast.
Sarah, thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Oh, we're talking all the things of how women can take even better care of themselves while working, after working, being self-directed. I die. I'm so excited. Yeah. But before we jump into all the gooey goodness that you have to share with us, I would love to know, right? Because you're super smart. You have all this stuff going on. And I would love to know, out of all the things that you could have done with your one precious life, why is this what you do?
Oh, man. I mean, there are levels on that answer. I think the first level of why I'm doing this initially was to take care of my kids, to provide for my children, right? And that's like one layer survival. I think that's why we all have jobs. I think if we didn't have to work, we would all,
Yes.
Yeah. But it was also the reason I chose this as my profession is because it's a way to give back what my time, talents, and treasures, right? It's a way for me to give back everything that I've ever gained in my life. We'll probably talk about some of that, but it's a way to give all that back to others and help, them learn from my mistakes and from what I've learned.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, those kids, man, they drive so much of our motivation, don't they?
What we wouldn't do, right?
Oh my gosh. Nothing. There's nothing we wouldn't do. Nothing, including starting businesses and being like, I'll do anything, like as far as expanding this business and helping it grow. And I'd love to know, I know we have some really cool questions. Like I really want to understand what, a self-directed retirement account even is and how we talk about it and how we can start to think about it. But before we jump into that, I know for so many people, this kind of conversation, right? This topic, this where's your money? How are your accounts? Do people kind of freeze It's like, I'm supposed to know this and I don't know this. Like, what would you want someone who's maybe listening and they're sort of nervous about this, or they're scared that you're going to bro their ears off right now? Like, like be the man bro and like, here's what you got to do. Someone's nervous right now, but they really do want the information you're about to give. What would you tell them about what's going on for them right now?
Well, I would ask them a question. I would
Hmm.
ask them, I would say, are you interested in having enough money to retire?
Mm.
Because we all have a goal and we know that there's going to be some point in our lives when we don't want to work anymore, or at least, again, talking about work, right? There's a time when we want to retire. And when we do, Social Security just won't cover it. It's the base level for all of us, the ground zero baseline, but it's just not enough.
Hmm.
And we all, this is a girlfriend kind of podcast. Well, as women, a lot of us are caretakers and we like to
Hmm.
take care. Well, we have to take care of ourselves,
Yeah.
you know, and in this way, we take care of others. Then when we take care of ourselves, we're not obligating others to step in and fill that gap that we didn't fill ourselves.
Hmm.
So it's a way of being responsible. And do you need a spreadsheet? Yeah, you know what I mean? Excel can be your friend. I'm not going to lie. Little QuickBooks never hurt, but a self-directed IRA is a tool you can use or don't use, your choice, but it helps you to be prepared. And it's entirely your decision. We're not selling assets to you.
Mm.
You pick the asset. And this is an account that lets you pick that asset that you want
Hmm.
and use your retirement dollars to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think that's a big deal because I think what happens, right, is a lot of people will see like, okay, I'm going to start putting money in my IRA. I'm going to start putting money in a 401k, whatever the retirement accounts are. And then they're like, but who do I trust with? Like, who do I go to and who manages this and what happens? So, can you really break down for us what is the difference between something that's self-directed and maybe
Mm.
something that is sold to you by a financial firm that wants to manage your retirement money?
Yeah, there's a place for all of that. I have a financial advisor. Is my life insured to here? Yeah, it is. I'm not going to lie. And it's a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
Like let's talk about layers super quick. But I mean, we talked about Social Security, then there's maybe life insurance, maybe
Mhm.
an annuity, maybe there's a 401k where you work, maybe you have personal assets, and all these things bundle on top of each other. It creates your own capital stack for retirement. So self-directing is one of those pieces. So in case there's a rainy day and something doesn't work out over here, you've got a lot of other things to,
Mm.
count on. So I mean, when you're working and you have an employer plan, it's wonderful, especially if your employer is contributing and throwing money in there too. It can be free money for you,
Oh, it's so
not
great.
just your own, but they're throwing, yeah, I mean, I do it for my employees. A lot of companies do. So these are great things to have vehicles, but you're right. People are selling you assets sometimes because it's good for them.
Right.
Sometimes they're recommending assets where they get paid a percentage of your assets under management. Doesn't mean it's not good for you too, but it's good for them. But with the self-directed IRA, we're not getting paid on your asset at all. I mean, like a $35 transaction fee maybe, but not a percentage of your assets. So
Right. Big
what it
difference.
is, you open an account, you fund it by moving over those retirement accounts you already have, move it into a self-directed account, and then invest. But before you do any of that, what you want to do is choose the asset that you want, and then let the self-directed IRA, solo 401k, self-directed SEP, whatever it may be, let that account serve you and help you acquire the asset that you already want.
Mm. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that because you're just taking back the power,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And what
Yes.
happens if somebody says, I don't know what assets I want? Or I'd love this idea that I would be in control of my retirement assets, but I
Mhm.
don't really know what to do with them. What would you say to that person?
Well, I can only tell you my story, like, and
Ooh,
how I
I
did
love
it.
this.
Because I think I'm not going to go deep, but I'm just going to say that being in the real estate space, like I have been for a lot of years, and it was interesting to me to go to meetups. And in fact, I
Mm.
ended up opening AREA, the Orange County Real Estate Investors Association. So since 2012, we educate real estate investors. So I started learning about this kind of real estate investing. And and then forget it. We've got these podcasts. We have so many ways to learn. So if you just tune your mind into an asset that you're interested in and you go online, there's just no stopping you. I mean, gosh, now we have AI. It can think for you if you want, but like, what could I invest in? So
Mm.
With a self-directed account, what you're investing in is what's called an alternative asset. So it's interesting, it's called that, but there you go. But what is it alternative to? You right? It's
Yeah. That's the
alternative to,
question. Yeah.
yeah, it's alternative to the stock market. Now, I think I live in a house, I work in a building. I think buildings are more Main Street than the stock market. I think the stock market is
Mm,
alternative to my life. I think that, but words, people use
right.
words. So, but it's alternative assets. So you could invest in crypto, precious metals. A lot of people are really hot on that these days.
Hmm.
Real estate in all of its many forms. It might blow your mind how many ways you can invest in real estate.
Mm,
So what you need to do first is educate yourself. And I know we're always looking to grow. We always want to improve ourselves and be better. This is one way to do that is by digging in and learning about alternative assets and learning about, and we can talk, we can go deep on that if you want, but learning about them, choosing one, and then using this account, to invest.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I have one more question because I feel like I heard this in the ether while you were talking is like, well, but when do I have time to educate myself on that? What would you say to somebody who's really just getting started? How should someone educate themselves really on what's available? Because there's so much that's
Right.
out there, and everybody's like this one. If someone's just getting started, they're like, okay, I'm really going to do this. She's right. I should be in charge of this asset.
Yeah.
Where could they get started to really be educated?
Right. If someone's as busy as you and I are,
Right.
right? So
Right.
we're driving our cars. I'm just like when you say this, I'm thinking, how would I do it? When I'm driving my car, I'm listening to podcasts. Like I love Justin Donald, his podcast, Crazy Great.
Yep.
Bigger Pockets. I love their, podcasts. There are just so many great podcasts. You just find one, you're driving anyway. You don't want to drive in silence. Use,
Yes.
yeah, and you're in that, what, theta state or whatever it's called. And your mind's kind of receiving all these things. Just, I would start there if you have no time, like you and me.
Oh, I love that. You know what I'll tell you too?
But
Side note, anytime I listen to a podcast while I'm driving, I remember it. I remember it so well. It's crazy that that is just such a perfect time to be listening to podcasts. I couldn't agree more.
you're not distracted.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you're using both sides of your brain at the same time, right? So it's really going in. Oh, I just love it. Brilliant answer, by the way. Love that. And then the other thing is we have so many business owners who, listen to this podcast. There's this constant, I'm going to say need for capital, but it's
Mhm.
not like a need like people are like, oh my God, I need more cap. But it's more like most women, right? If you are looking for venture capital funding, right?
Yeah.
It's like less than 2% goes to women.
Oh,
This is still an issue in our world. If I want to go pitch to all those guys in New York, those, that have all that venture capital money, chances are I won't get it, right? That a man would get it. So
oh.
I know there's a lot that you do around kind of tapping into capital that's actually available to us that we may not know about. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. And, it's funny. I was talking to somebody about this very thing yesterday from about a woman who was saying, I had no idea
Mm,
that it wasn't just me. It wasn't just the me show starring me trying to get this thing done, but what
right.
I could do, is say, hey, I'm doing this thing. Do you want to come along and
Mhm.
have a debt or equity position in what I'm doing? And she said it just opened her eyes to realize she could ask. And suddenly she was raising millions of dollars.
Mm.
She acquired the confidence to do this. And it's not hard. I mean, you put yourself in the right environment. Like one of the things I do, I'm in Orange County, California. So one of the things I do locally is have like wine and cheese mixers. So investors come in and people raising capital come in, they talk to each other. And then you can learn about deals and you can talk to other people. Hey, how do you raise capital? That's one way. I mean, that's a tiny way, but just, go to meetup.com, find meetups in your area.
Mm.
And again, there's so many ways to find people if you don't know where to find them, but ask them this question because almost all of us have had a job. And this is what I love about retirement accounts is the only criteria to have a retirement account or contribute to it is to have active income from a job. That's
The
it,
end. Yeah,
I think that's kind of the fog of mirror test, right? So
that's
we
funny.
have active
Yeah.
income from a job,
Yeah.
Now we can put money in a retirement account. Now it depends upon your age, your account type, and your income, how much you can put in.
Right.
But you put it in, and gosh, if you take nothing away today, contribute to your account today, whatever account you have, because it may be tax deductible.
That's
So
exactly
you
right.
may actually like pay yourself instead of the IRS. That's what my CPA likes to say, pay yourself instead of the IRS, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to put the retirement dollars away anyway. So if when you're raising capital, you say to people, do you have an IRA or do you have a retirement account from a previous employer? Move that over, roll it over. There you go.
Put it all, yeah, put it all
Uh,
in one place. Yeah, get
there
it
you
in
go.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is incredible. Okay. I know too, for someone, okay, I feel like I just heard a question again. Sorry. For someone who's like, wait a minute. Is it just a matter of being introduced to investors? Is it just a matter of accessing my funds a different way? How can someone actually get into the world of tapping into all of the capital that's available?
Mhm.
What steps would they take to actually just get started?
Yeah. And you make me realize I need to say that retirement accounts represent a $40 trillion pool of money. Okay.
That's a lot of
Right.
dollars.
So it's a yeah,
It's a
it's
lot of
huge, right?
dollars. Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you find that money? Well, one of the ways that people raise capital is through syndications. So say, for example, you say, hey, look, I found this really cute little boutique hotel. I could run that, or, I could do that. I could do that. So you want to raise the capital to grab it. So what you do is maybe you go to a syndication attorney, and I know a lot of them if you want some referrals, and you talk to some, and they'll tell you about what you're allowed to do because it's the SEC that governs this. And they have a regulation A, B, C, and D type of offering, A, B, C, Reg A, Reg B, offering. And they'll help you understand what's best for you.
Mm.
And some of them you can actually advertise that you have an asset and you're raising capital. Some you can, some you can't. You just need to know the rules. If you're going to do this, if you're going to play the game, you got to put your big girl pants on and you need an attorney. You don't want to run afoul of the SEC. So
Never.
do it. How hard is that? Pick up the phone. Hi, help me. Done. I mean, you write him a check. I'm not going to lie, but
Well, I was
you
going to
know,
say there's dollars exchanged, but it's dollars that's worth it,
yeah,
right? Like to be
yeah.
protected like that. That's so important.
So true. And so then that's one way to raise capital with an SEC approved investment. Another way is if it's smaller, if it's small dollars. And this happened a lot after the Great Recession, happened a
Okay.
lot after COVID. But do you remember how many, like you go by the strip mall near where you work and all the little shops that used to be open are closed?
Yes.
How do those people find the dollars? COVID or whatever it was, the Black Swan event wiped them out.
Yeah.
Grassroots. Like my IRA can, if maybe I know the owner of the nail salon where I go, right? Nails, right? We all do this.
All of
So
us.
yeah.
Yes.
So I know the owner of the nail salon, right? She lost her business, but she was trying to
Mm,
bring it back. How does she do that? Guess what? My IRA can be a debt or equity partner in her business.
got it.
Who knew that? Who knew your IRA could do that? Nobody tells you this. About 4% of all retirement money is in IRAs. I mean, these self-directed accounts. Not everybody knows this. Maybe your friend, your next door neighbor, can't get a loan to buy a car and you know that they're good for it. Your IRA could actually make a loan to them. They could buy a car and seriously, and make the payments back to your IRA.
My
Did you
jaw's
know
on
that?
the floor. I did not know
Yeah.
that. I like
Yeah.
consider myself pretty well read about money. I did not know that as
That's
long as
kind of
it's
micro.
self-directed. Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
but micro is what makes the world work, right? Like I'm a small business coach. Small businesses, they do a lot for communities and our grassroots efforts in everything that we do. A lot of small businesses are involved in that. That's a
It's true.
big
When I
deal.
started UDirect, I needed capital. I didn't get IRA capital, but I did get capital. And it was a loan from someone. Well, guess what? IRAs can lend money to people secured or unsecured.
Got
I
it.
think secured is always better because,
Yes.
hey, that's less risk.
Hmm.
But you can do, little things or you can do big things like your IRA could invest in somebody who's building, say, this giant apartment complex. And your IRA could invest, say, through a subscription agreement, into a syndication using it. You get an operating agreement, a subscription agreement, your IRA invests, then your IRA is an partial equity owner of that deal.
That's
So your
amazing.
IRA owns a teeny little bit of that building, but you're
Right.
helping them. And then you get some of the proceeds
And then you get it
and it
back.
goes from there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think
Mm,
that can be life changing for a lot of people.
yeah.
People who really want to make sure they're kind of paying it forward, like you said. Like, I want to pay forward all this stuff that all the people who were there for me when I started my business, or all
Yeah.
those different ways that we can continue to support each other. I think that is so cool. Wow. Oh my goodness. So my brain just went, there's like so many places I'd love to put that. That's like just wonderful. And then I know you also have a book. Can you tell us a little bit more about the books? I know it's available on Amazon, right?
Happen to have it right here.
I love it. Those of you not watching, she just held it up. Oh my God,
Boom,
it's
it's
cute.
on my
Yeah.
desk. I collaborated with Bigger Pockets. It's a Bigger Pockets guide to
Ah,
self-directed IRA investing. And so we wrote it together, and they wrote a lot of the real estate part. I wrote the IRA part. It's not a storybook, okay? It's a guidebook. So it's like, oh, how do I do that? Oh, here, page 12, and that kind of thing. Like, oh, tax benefits of self-directed IRAs, chapter 5. How does this benefit me
mm.
tax-wise? Boom. It's very bare bones, really like a how-to book.
Oh, and boy, isn't that what we need, right? I love that you
Yeah.
call it a guide.
Yeah.
Because there's, like I said earlier, there's so much out there. It's like, what do I, huh? Right. So to
Yeah.
have a guide is so, so helpful.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Kaaren, I could talk to you about this for, I think, a long time, but I think you also have a free gift for all of our people. Do I have that correct?
I do. I do.
Okay.
It's our
Talk to
free
me.
report. And what it talks about is the different asset classes that your IRA can invest in. And it goes deep on some of these asset classes so you can start to understand them and use that as like a jumping off point for, well, what could I even do? I have this 401k. I used to work here, or maybe you have a couple of them. You could even bring them all together if you find a deal so that you've got enough capital to take down a deal.
Love it. Oh my God, that's so cool. You guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, we are going to have that link
Yeah.
underneath this video for those of you listening, and make sure you check out the show notes. We'll have a link to the book and a link to this toolkit. You guys, there's so much out there that we could be doing to support ourselves, to support other people's businesses, and to support hard work like what Karen's doing. Guys, thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much for spending time with the girlfriends today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sarah. Really, I really appreciate it.